Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and good Shabbos, and Moadim L'Simcha is what you say when you're in the intermediary days of a festival, which we are, right? Sukkot started earlier this week, Monday night and through Wednesday, and now we're in the intermediate days. Literally, Chol HaMoed is the secular days of the holy day, right? It's Sukkot. And a week long, although it's made to be 8 days, and then we get Shmini Atzeret, which makes it 9 days, and then there's Simchat Torah, which makes it feel like it's 10 days. So a 7-day biblical holiday gets a lot of extra days. But it was an absolutely stunning day here in Huntington. The third day of autumn was off to a brilliant start, and it did warm up a little bit, but the sun is still out and it's not too hot and it's not too cold. It is pretty much just right for this intermediary Shabbos of Sukkot, the Shabbat Chol HaMoed. And so a little bit different tonight and a little bit different tomorrow because we are in the midst of a holiday, right? The Chol HaMoed, there are still essences or of the holiness of the day. So, we still, at the morning service would still say Hallel, and we would still take the lulav and the etrog, but we could still go to work. It's technically not a festival, but there are reminders there. So this evening's Kabbalat Shabbat is significantly abbreviated no matter where you are. It usually just picks up with the Psalm for Shabbat and then Psalm 93, and then Mourner's Kaddish. But tonight we're gonna cheat a little bit after we ben Shlicht. We're gonna sing Shalom Aleichem, kind of get us in the mood, and then do the 2 final Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat, and then go into Mourner's Kaddish, and then into the evening service. So I have Sam here as my tech guru and my Licht bencher. So pages 3 and 2 in our Sidurim.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahalik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you, Sam. You're welcome. All right, let's jump ahead to Shalom Aleichem. You'll find that on page 24. 24. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei amlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Baruch hu ni l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei amlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech, malachei amlachim hakadosh baruch hu. All right, let's turn back to page 22 for verses from Psalm 92, the Psalm for Shabbat. And let's read the first paragraph together in English and then join in for Tzaddik Katamar. A song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. With a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together, you have gladdened me by your work deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai, how very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. Tzaddik katamar yifrach, ke'erez balvanon, yihiske shetulim, beveit Adonai, bechatrot Eloheinu yafrichu. O Jenuvun Beseva, Deshenim Verahananim, Yiyu Lehagid, Ki Ashar Adonai, Tzuri, Velo Avlatabo. And on page 23, Adonai Malach Geut Lavesh, Lavesh Adonai Oz. Edo Techenem Numod Levetcha Navaba Kodesh, Adonai Lihorech Yamim. All right, we're going to jump ahead to Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish, as we end Kabbalat Shabbat, page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hiruteh, v'yamlik malchuteh, b'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach l'olam l'omei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shmei d'kudsha brichu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. V'amiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. All right, page 146. We'll continue with the evening service. Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Let's read together on page 147 the three paragraphs in English. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you, and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, Ama'ariv Aravim. Page 148. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, amcha havta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shofeinu uvkumeinu, Nasiach bechukecha, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ויורך ימינו ויורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה, יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוקתך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Page 151, let's read responsively in English. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
Yet that oneness eludes or grasps as imperfection and evil abound.
Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come?
When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves.
Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We learned that God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom.
Top of 152, Mi Chamocha. Mi Chamocha Bailim Adonai. Mi Chamocha Nedar Bakodesh. Nahora Tehilot. Ohosef Ele. Malchutecha Ra'u Banecha. Bokeyam Lifnei Moshe. Zeli anu v'amru Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed v'nehemar kifad Adonai et Yaakov uga'alo mi'ed chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael. Top of 153, the second bracha after the Shema, Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Let's continue in the English together. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai Haporei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kol Amo Yisrael, V'al Yerushalayim. Page 154, verses from the book of Shemot, from the book of Exodus, reminding us of the importance of Shabbat, also known as Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti li'olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. All right, we are at the centerpiece of the evening service, the Amidah. And this evening we have we have insertions within the davening, within the prayer, and all the insertions are for Chag Sukkot Hazeh, and that you'll find that on page 161, where it says Rosh Chodesh, Pesach, and Sukkot. So this is the addition for Chol HaMoed. But other than that, it's the same as usual. 155, 156, and 157 will chant together silently through the end on 167. And you can follow along in the Hebrew, read the English, or offer up your own meditation at this time. 155. Adonai sifatai tiftach uvi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai sifatai tiftach uvi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, Ha'anora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh HaKol, V'zocher Chastei Avot Ve'imahot, U'mevi Goel Libnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Metim Hatara V'Hoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechaye heitim berachamim rabim. Somech noflim berofei cholim. Umatir asurim. Umekayem emunato. Lishenei afar. Michamocha ma'agivurot. Umidom elach. Melech meimit umechayeh. Umatzliach Yeshua. V'neman ata l'chayot eitim. Baruch ata Adonai mechayeh hameitim. Still completing our Amidah. Please continue at your own pace. We're going to continue in English on 160 together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai v'kadesh haShabbat. Top of page 162, let's read Yale V'Yavo together in English, and it is Day of Sukkot. Our God and God of our fathers and our mothers, be mindful of us and all your people, Israel, on this day of Sukkot, and renew us in love and compassion, goodness, life, and peace. This day remember us for well-being. Amen. This day bless us with your nearness. Amen. This day help us to a fuller life. Amen. A little bit of Hoda'ah on this Chol HaMoed Shabbat. Today is a very special anniversary for a dear friend of mine, and I wish her much continued strength and only blessings and good things on this anniversary. It is a beautiful, beautiful evening here, so lots to be thankful for there. And we made it through the summer. So, I mean, lots to be grateful for there. Born on the first day of autumn, I was, so summer is something I have to get through to get to the good time of the year. So we survived, friends. We survived. And it doesn't have to be big things, little things. You know, today even though my knees hurt, I am up and about and I'm walking. And so it's little things like that, being able to walk and be grateful for it, recognizing the good in our lives. Top of page 163, let's read together, not together, responsibly in English. For the good in us, which calls us to a better life, we give thanks.
For the strength and the good of the world, our hearts and our hands, we offer praise.
For the desire in us, which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful.
For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hope of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being.
All right, we'll close out on 164. In the evening, it's Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol heit u'b'chol sha'a b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. All right, we're going to jump ahead up to page 253 for the Misha Berach, middle of page 253. Misha Berach Ahavoteinu Mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach imotenu mikor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. All right, pages 258 and 259, prayers for our community. Recite these together. Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us: love of Torah, devotion and prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadcha b'yirat na'avod. Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry and take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, give clothing and do not ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then your light shall shine in darkness. Sha'alu shalom Yerushalayim, yishlayu ohavayich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. Avinu shabashamayim, tzur Yisrael v'golo, barech et medinat Yisrael, reshit smichat geulatenu. Again aleha bi'evrat chastecha, ufros aleha sukat shlomecha, ushlach orcha v'amitcha l'rosheha sareha v'yoetzeha, v'takneim be'etzah tova milfanecha, v'natata shalom ba'aretz, v'simchat olam le'yoshveha, v'nomar amen. O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. All right, friends. Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos, and Moadim L'Simcha. All right, this is Shabbat Chol HaMoed Sukkot, and there's no special Torah portion. Well, there is a special Torah portion, but it's not a weekly Torah portion. It's one that we have read before. On the holidays, we revisit Torah portions that we have seen or will see during the year. And this Torah portion for this Chol HaMoed Shabbat comes to us courtesy of Exodus 33, beginning in Exodus 33, out of Parsha Ki Tisa. Right, so this is a very, very important parsha in the thick of things in the book of Shemot. And in this particular parsha, Moshe is feeling a little bit, I don't know, sassy or a little bit empowered after what's been going on. So he asks to see God's face. God says, look, I'll give you what you want. What do you want? And Moshe says, I want to see your face. I want to look at you. I want to see what you are. And God says to him, Lo tuchal lir'ot et penei ki lo yarane ha'adam v'chai. God says, nope, can't look at me. You can't look directly at me because if you do, you're going to die. All right, this is very enigmatic. Right, this is God saying, nope, 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 can't look at me. I am more than you can handle. Right, and that's probably true. Right, our minds wouldn't be able to handle that which is God directly. So God says, I'll compromise with you. I'm going to put you in the cleft of a rock, and I'm going to pass by. And as you see me pass by, you can see my back. You'll see the back of me, acharai, right? You'll see my back. And Moshe says, okay, right? So in a lot of ways, this is setting up how we experience God. Very seldom do we realize that we are experiencing God in the moment. It's usually after the fact. Right, so I remember very vividly, I was a teenager driving, and where I grew up, lots of mountains and lots of fog. Right, I grew up on top of a mountain, and so we were driving through fog. That was when I was in London, the fog had nothing on the fog in the mountains where I was growing up, and my friends all lived in small communities throughout the area, and I was coming back from visiting a friend, and it was very, very foggy, and it was a little wet, and I lost control of the car, and I was spinning around, and I wound up, it was a 2-lane highway, a 2-lane road. So I was going into both lanes, and ultimately I wound up stopped in the right lane, going the right direction. And, I wasn't driving fast. It wasn't anyway. It was one of those freak kinds of things. And so while I was spinning, I wasn't thinking, wow, I might be experiencing God here. I'm thinking I got to get control of Dad's car, or there's going to be the diggings to pay when I get home. And it all worked out. Only afterwards did I realize how bloody miraculous that was, because there were no guardrails on either side of this road, and there were ditches, and there was traffic that would be coming on the opposite side toward me. So nobody got hurt. The car didn't get damaged. And I have a story to tell. But when it was happening, I wasn't thinking, wow, this would be a nice moment for God to, show up. It's only after the fact that I realized how miraculous the whole thing was. And I think this is what the Torah portion for Sukkot is reminding us, that we don't see God directly. We only see God in retrospect, after the event has happened. And that's chapter 33. Chapter 34 changes gears a little bit. It's the renewal of the Brit, renewal of the covenant that God has forged with us. Moshe carves out the Shnei Luchot HaBrit, right? He has to carve out the new tablets because in a fit of anger, he broke the first ones. So God says, yeah, I'll give you another set, but this time you have to carve them. I did them the first time. Now you do it. And so Moshe does. And then we get what is called the Cultic Decalogue. It's a fancy term that scholars use that is referring to this particular piece of the Torah in which new laws get enumerated. That are it's another decalogue. It's another Aseret HaDibrot in a way. It's another 10 utterances in which God is now giving specific commands to Israel. The original Aseret HaDibrot were more universal. Don't steal, don't murder, don't commit adultery, honor God, no idols, honor your parents. All right, so that was all universal. But this particular set of laws that Moshe gets for the second set of tablets, as it were, focuses on Bnei Yisrael in particular. And two particular issues: false modes of worship, idolatry, right, which is a serious issue in the mind of the Torah, especially in the book of Deuteronomy, which we'll be winding up on Simchat Torah, and legitimate festivals and rituals, right? So these are the things. And so the original Decalogue, universal laws. This one, specific to Israel. How specific? This one, Shabbat is mentioned, Pesach, Shavuot, the first fruits, Kashrut, don't boil a kid in its mother's milk, right? That's one of the 3 times that particular one is mentioned. And ultimately what we learn, and this is going to carry into the festival a little bit as well, because we have festival meals, is that our calendar with its festivals and our kitchens where we make our food will make us distinct. This is what separates us from the others. This is what makes us a unique people. Our calendar with our holidays and festivals, and our laws of dealing with food. And what's interesting here, Sukkot is a holiday where it doesn't matter what you eat. There's no restrictions on eating like Pesach. The only restriction is you have to eat in the Sukkah. Whereas Pesach, you can't eat matzah, but you can eat anywhere you want, as long as you don't eat the chametz, right? So Sukkot is not necessarily, it's my favorite holiday because you get to sit outside during the autumn. And well, there you have it, friends. That's this week's Torah portion in a nutshell. Shabbat Shalom, u'moedim l'simcha. Okay, speaking of Sukkot, It is the last of the Shlosh Regalim, right? There are three major holidays that are enumerated in the Torah. We have the first one, which is Pesach. We have the second one, which is Shavuot. And the third one, Sukkot. Now, well before we were a united people, well before we were Jews, right? We were people living in the Middle East. And these three festivals actually are tied not necessarily first to religion, but they are tied to agricultural events. Pesach is the beginning of spring, the first planting. Shavuot was at the time of the first grain harvest. And then, of course, Sukkot is at the end of the growing season, where it's the final big harvest, the last of the harvests before winter sets in. Most of our traditions don't deal with space, not the space above, but literal space, right? We can celebrate Shabbat anywhere. We can celebrate Pesach anywhere. We can celebrate Shavuot anywhere. We could pray just about anywhere, right? We are not bound to location, but we are bound to time, right? We are bound to time. The Chagim fall at certain times, right? They either, for most people who don't understand the calendar, they either fall early or late. No, they always fall on time, but they have to fall in specific times. This year is a leap year. We get an extra month in the spring so that the holidays all fall when they're supposed to. Pesach has to fall in the spring. Shavuot has to fall early in the summer, and Sukkot in the autumn. Now, and we do that, we ensure that by every 7 times in 17, no, 7 times in, I can't remember the numbers, but we have in a 17-year cycle a number of extra months to keep us in that balance. If you want to see what a true lunar calendar is, where the holidays float, that's Islam. Ramadan, their big fast month, can fall in the winter, spring, summer, whenever, because they don't intercalate the calendar. They don't make sure that Ramadan falls in a certain spot. But we do, right? At least for our Shalosh Regalim, which have to fall in specific times. This particular holiday, however, is not only linked to time, it's linked to space. We have to have a sukkah. We have to build a sukkah, and the command is leshev basukkah. Some translate it as to sit in the sukkah. Others translate it as to dwell or to live in the sukkah, right? But we are relegated to space, right? Now you could build your sukkah anywhere. Build in your backyard, in your front yard. You can build it in your neighbor's yard. You can build it in Brooklyn, Berlin, anywhere. But you have to enact certain rituals inside that sukkah. So this is one of the few holidays we have that's about space as well as time. The high holidays remind us that we were in God's space. We approached God on Rosh Hashanah. We got extremely close to God on Yom Kippur. Now for Sukkot, we invite God into our space. We invite God into our sukkah, where we perform the rituals of our traditions. Israelites built the tabernacle so that God could dwell with them. We build a sukkah and invite God, and we fill it with good things that are important to us, and we invite God in. Pesach has a Seder which is filled with symbols. And the symbols remind us why they are important. The cups of wine, the matzah, all of that. Shavuot, we don't do anything, but we strive to hear. We strive to hear the revelation. And on Sukkot, believe it or not, we build. Jews with tools, Jews with hammers and nails and all sorts of things to build a sukkah. And we build so that we have order. We bring order into the chaos of the wilderness. We bring a place where we keep the outside out and make the inside holy. And we bring meaning into God's world by building something in which we can dwell. Now, the sukkah is temporary. The sukkah is fragile, like life. Reminds us the fragility of life, right? The sukkah can get blown over in a strong wind. The roof can come off at any time. The rain comes in when it rains. It's fragile. It's there, but it's ours. And it reminds us that life is fleeting and fragile and could stop at any minute. But we celebrate. Because out of all of the holidays, out of all of the mitzvot, God doesn't command a lot of emotions. We're only commanded to love twice in the Torah, to love God and to love our neighbor. And we're only commanded to be happy with Sukkot. One of the mitzvot of Sukkot is to be happy. First is to dwell in the Sukkah. Second is to shake the lulav and the etrog. And the third is to be b'simcha, to be happy. Happy for a whole lot of things. But it's one of the few times that we focus on space as well as time. It's space wherever we are. The space is holy wherever we are because we are in it. And that's what's important. Shabbat Shalom and Moedim L'Simcha. Sam, tell me, what time is it?
Kiddush.
It's Kiddush time. Just a regular Kiddush. As if you can have just a regular Kiddush. Kiddush is special, sanctifies the day. Lets us know it is important. Vayehi Erev, Vayehi Voker, Yom HaShishi. Vayechulu Hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzivam. Vayechal Elohim vayom hashvi melachto asher asa. Vayishbot vayom hashvi mikol melachto asher asa. Vayevarech Elohim et yom hashvi. Vayikadesh oto kivo shavat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim la'asot. Savri. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit. Kihu yom techila lamikra'e kodesh zecher letziyat mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha v'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 282. Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol la'sheit kedula li'otzeh breshit shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adam shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam v'anachnu korim Umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu noteh shamayim v'yoser haaretz umoshev yekaro b'shamayim himal ushchinatu zo v'goltei meromim. Eloheinu Einod Emet Malkeinu Efesu Hato
כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבותה בלבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני המלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו echad.
We are still in the period where we look at Psalm 27, the psalm for the days of awe. One of my favorite psalms. We stopped saying it on Hoshana Rabbah, and we put it away until next year. It's a beautiful psalm. Maybe next year I'll have my own translation, which keeps the feeling of the psalm. Very vivid imagery that doesn't often get translated. People coming to eat David, people who breathe out lies and violence against him. So it's an intense psalm, But let's read it responsibly on the handout, a psalm of David. Adonai is my light and my help, whom shall I fear? Adonai is the strength of my life, whom shall I dread?
When evildoers draw near to slander me, when foes threaten, they stumble and fall. Though armies be arrayed against me, I have no fear. Though wars threaten, I remain steadfast in my faith.
One thing I ask of Adonai, for this I yearn, to dwell in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, to behold God's beauty, to pray in God's sanctuary.
Hiding me in shrine, safe from peril, God will shelter me beyond the reach of disaster, and raise my head high above my enemies.
I will bring God offerings with shouts of joy, singing, chanting praise to Adonai.
Adonai, hear my voice when I call. Be gracious to me and answer. It is you whom I seek, says my heart. It is your presence that I seek, Adonai.
Do not hide from me. Do not reject your servant. You have always been my help. Do not abandon me. Forsake me not, my God of deliverance.
Though my father and my mother leave me, Adonai will care for me.
Teach me your way, Adonai. Guide me on the right path to confound my oppressors.
Do not abandon me to the will of my foes, for false witnesses have risen against me, purveyors of malice and lies.
Yet I have faith that I shall surely see Adonai's goodness in the land of the living. Hope in Adonai, be strong, take courage, and hope in Adonai. Leulei hemanti l'rot b'tuv Adonai be'eretz chaim, kaveh el Adonai, chazak v'yametz libecha, v'kaveh el Adonai. This week, we observed the following yardzites: Robert Einstein, Sidney Poland's son; Samuel Jason, related to Lawrence Fetter; Robert Bob Pickholtz, Linda Klein's father; Nettie Supovitz, Lynn Mayer's aunt; Jack Glick, husband of Miriam, father of Joanne and David, uncle of Billy; Barnett Fish, Francis Tompkins' grandfather; Sam B. Kaplan, Judy Woodruff's maternal grandfather; Anthony Skolick, Stephanie's father; Genevieve Woodruff, Ed's mother; Jacob Feinberg, Herman Feinberg's relative; William Glick, Betty Kolker's uncle; Bernard Sklov, Stanley and David's father; Ellen Weinberger, Richard's wife, mother of Paul and Ned; Edith Cohen, daughter of Joe and Hannah; Joseph Jason, Goldie Fetter's brother; Minnie Gertrude Lloyd, Charles's mother; Charles Footlick, Betty Kolker's uncle; Biddy Ann Keene, Leonard's wife, mother of Michael and Mark, Sari Lefrak Weiss, Dee Dee Muffson's mother. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May their memories be a blessing to us always, and may they all rest in peace. Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yit Gadal, Yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, Bi'alma Divrach Hirute, Bi'amlik Malchute, B'chayechon, U'yomechon, U'vchayei Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala U'vizman Kariv V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Leolam Lomei Maya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yitalev V'yitalal Shmei Tekudasha B'richu Leila Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbachata V'nechamata Da'amiram V'yoma V'yimru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom V'imrumav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. All right, friends, we are at the end of services. A handful of announcements before we go. Service tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Chol Hamoed Sukkot. No lulav and etrog tomorrow because it's Shabbos, but there will be Hallel and the reading of Kohelet, the book of Ecclesiastes, the feel-good book. Well, not really the feel-good book, but a book filled with wisdom. And then Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Sunday afternoon between 1 and 3, if you signed up, you can come and make the lulav shake. We have the 10-minute appointments so that we're not bunched together and that people can come and fulfill one of the mitzvot of Sukkot. Actually, we're going to fulfill 2 and make it, then it'll be 3, because we're actually going to shake the lulav and the etrog in the Sukkah. And so you'll shake the lulav in the etrog, you'll be in the Sukkah, and you'll be happy. So the 3 mitzvot, boom, 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 you are good to go. And so you have to have signed up, and that's the piece. So that's Sunday. Monday night starts the festival of it's the holiday of Shmini Atzeret, and so there'll be services Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. and that will include Yizkor. And then Tuesday evening, we're going to celebrate Simchat Torah virtually. We're going to be singing and get some ruach going, and we'll give you another tour of the Torah and show you some of the things that we might have missed last year, the little secrets that are hidden inside the Torah that you don't get to see unless you get that aliyah on Shabbat or the Yantif. So lots going on as the end of Sukkot comes upon us. And then after that, we'll be back here for Shabbat. So again, not a lot in terms of meetings and outside things going on. No adult ed this week and no deep dive into Genesis because, well, we'll be starting Chag or the end of Chag at that point. So lots of opportunities to fulfill the mitzvot of Sukkot. Those of you who are coming on Sunday to shake the lulav and the etrog, we will provide gloves and you provide the masks. And you got to have a mask to be here for your turn to shake the lulav. And I think that's it. That's it. Yeah, that's it. So lots going on and hope to see you. And let's close out on 321, Adon Olam.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Nasa B'chefso Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'acharei Kilot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora Vehu Haya Vehu Hoveh Vehu Yeh B'tifara Vehu Echad Ve'en Sheni להמשילו להחבירה, בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמשרה, והוא אלי וחי גואלי, וצורכב לי ביצרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא, ביהדו אף כדרוכי, בעת אישן בעירה, ואמרו כי גבייתי, אדוני לי ולא יירא.
Let's see who is reaching out to us this Erev Shabbat. Let's see. Jenny Bro, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Chag Sameach Sukkot. Thank you, Jenny. Same to you. Melanie Samuels from the holy city of Brooklyn. Good Shabbos and happy birthday. Thank you, Rabbi, and happy Sukkot to all. From Melanie in Brooklyn. Judith Land, Shabbat Shalom, y'all. Cliff Wanamaker, Shabbat Shalom from Mom and Cliff. Thank you. Brenda Glick, Shabbat Shalom and happy Sukkot from Brenda and Billy. Judy Lance, happy birthday. Thank you. Brenda Glick, happy birthday. Thank you. I think that's it. Is that it?
You can make those go away, that X.
Please go away. There
Yeah,
we go.
that's it.
That's it. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful Shabbat and Chol HaMoed Shabbat for Sukkot. We'll see you soon, and be careful out there.
Good Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Sam, good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos, Ed.
Rabbi.
Shabbos. Good Shabbos. Thank you. Good Shabbos.
See you soon.